Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are St. Louis.
Welcome to St. Louis Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Midwest from Disney World. The spring training home of the Atlanta Braves, they host St. Louis on a beautiful afternoon of spring training baseball. The Braves finished a game behind St. Louis last year in the wild card, and that opened the door for David Freese and his October heroics. He also homered yesterday, the game winner for St. Louis, and he's in the lineup again this afternoon. Rick Horton with Al Raboski, and Al, David Freese, a big home run yesterday, seems to be picking up right where he left off in October.
Well, he's a great talent. The big thing about David this spring is that he's healthy. We saw what he did in postseason play last year. What can he do with 600 plate appearances during the regular season? Everyone thinks it's going to be big, big numbers.
Well, let's talk about pitching for a minute. Pitching obviously important in spring training to get that on track. A very important start today for the young right-hander Lance Lynn.
Well, Lance Lynn's going to be on this ball club. Is he going to be a reliever or is he going to be in the rotation? He is plan B until we find out more about Chris Carpenter. On Carpenter, the good news is that he threw batting practice yesterday, no ill effects from the bulging disc in his neck. But Lance Lynn is going to make his second start, stretch him out a little bit. He went 3 innings the first time. He's on a 65 pitch limit. Hopefully he can give you 4 or 5.
Lynn and Delgado are the pitchers here this afternoon. Two outstanding organizations, the Braves and the Cardinals. And the first pitch is coming up next. Cardinal manager Mike Matheny and his club ready for action here this afternoon from Disney World. Rando Delgado is the pitcher, and we're underway. Strike 1-2, Rafael Furcal, the switch hitter batting from the left side, and a big part of the Cardinals' success in 2011. Beautiful day for baseball here this afternoon, Al.
It's gorgeous baseball. Foul back into the crowd. Delgado is ranked as the third best prospect in the Atlanta Braves organization. Only 22 years of age, and already this is his 6th professional season. Pitching from out of Panama. Cardinals saw him late in September, and he pitched pretty well in the game. Went 5 innings, got in a little trouble. He threw 93 pitches in those 5 innings, and it only allowed 1 run.
And that was a game where Kimbrel gave it up in the 9th. A dramatic comeback for the Cardinals, and they had plenty of those last season, and trying to make some more memories this year in 2012.
Look, we touched on it a little bit in late September when we saw Atlanta come through, and as you mentioned, Kimbrel gave it up in the 9th inning. You know, their bullpen was on fumes. They had a lot of injured starters. These young kids got a chance, and you could see they were ripe for the picking. Freddie Gonzalez is an outstanding manager, but when you got a lot of young players and they're kind of running on fumes, and your veteran players were injured, they were just trying to hold on.
Ground ball to the right side. Ugla throws out for a call. And we'll give you the rest of the Cardinals lineup here this afternoon. Furcal will be followed by John Jay, who plays center field. The new Cardinal Beltran is in right. Freeze, Adams, Molina. Matt Carpenter getting a start in left field here this afternoon. Ryan Jackson at second, and the pitcher is Lance Lynn. And a late change for the Cardinals that Lance Lynn actually batting today. The Cardinals had originally planned on using the designated hitter today, and were told at the very last minute that they couldn't.
Right. Early in spring, it's kind of understanding that everyone goes with the DH in games. But usually about this time, managers start to like to get their pitchers a few swings. Now, the Cardinals are a big concerned because they didn't have any time, or none of their pitchers been swinging the bat at all, and they always worry about pulling a rib cage.
And Lance Lynn did that last year. Didn't even bring a bat on this trip, nor his helmet. So he may just stand up there and watch 3 pitches go by from Randall Delgado. The Cardinals will see Delgado and another phenom right-hander, actually their number 1 prospect, Julio Teheran. That one just misses to John Jay. Two the count. 1 out, the Cardinal first. There's that changeup for Delgado, his best pitch. And a look at the defense behind the young right-hander here this afternoon. And the guy to really watch is that shortstop, Andrelton Simmons. He is a star of the future. Ugla also up the middle. Freddie Freeman, a breakout year last year, plays first base.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about Simmons, a shortstop. He's not slated to make this club, but he's putting a lot of pressure on Pasternicki, who is a rookie who's never played in the big leagues, who is slated to be their shortstop in the regular season.
Well, they've said, Al, that he's done everything right. Andrelton Simmons, just 22 years of age, from Curacao. Runs well. And they say he can pick it at shortstop. Carlos Beltran. How important was it for the Cardinals, Al, to sign Beltran after losing number 5?
Well, you can't replace Pujols, but this is a pretty good replacement. If he's healthy, Beltran will really help this ball club. And Ricky, it's hard to believe, but Beltran last year, he had better on-base percentage and a better OPS than Albert did. It's a switch hitter, just a nice little controlled swing right there. Didn't try and do too much with it. Hit that high average, just a little liner, soft liner into center field.
Interesting that he says he feels more comfortable batting from the right side. Cardinal fans remember all the damage he did from the left side as an Astro.
Cardinal pitching made him a lot of money.
No doubt about it. And speaking of that, David Freese made his teammates a lot of money last year with what he did in October. He's having a very good spring. 3 homers, 10 RBIs.
He's tied for the league lead, or the National League lead, in RBIs with 10, but he's only done it in about 6 hits. He's got 3 home runs, got 8 of those 10 RBIs via the home run. David's just happy to be healthy. Ricky, would you say that this is a very, very good Cardinal team, but it's all going to, once again, like everybody, can depend on health? Kyle, Beltran, obviously Molina, because you can't replace him. And you talk about Freese and Craig, the young guys.
Carpenter, Wainwright.
And then Carpenter and Wainwright, and everybody else is so important. But if they stay healthy, this is going to be an outstanding team once again.
Beltran, the runner at first. Not quite as fast as he used to be. He's a 5-tool player at one point, Al.
5-tool player that could play.
That's right. That was actually using those tools.
Yeah, a lot of times people talk about 5-tool players, and they can do everything in batting practice and before game starts, but then they just don't make the right decisions when it's at crunch time or game time decisions.
2-out walk to David Freese brings in another star of the future for the Cardinals, Matt Adams, who had an outstanding season last year, and he's shown some power here this spring.
He showed power last year as the Texas League Player of the Year. 32 home runs at Double-A, 101 RBIs. And remember, they played one less month. They only played 5 months in the minor leagues, and a 300 hitter. He's a big man, but they say he still is very agile at first base and a good first baseman. He's got a short, compact swing, very few moving parts. And I talked to Berkman Saturday in Lakeland. I talked to McGuire, everybody you talk to, and when you talk about Adams, he said he has a chance to be very special.
Play him deep in the outfield, slightly to pull.
He has power to all fields. Delgado has a good changeup, and we're told that Nick's pitcher, their #1 prospect, has the best pitch, fastball and changeup in the organization.
And that'll be Tehran, and we expect to see just 2 pitchers this afternoon. Both these guys getting stretched out, Al. They want them to both finish the 9 innings. There's that off-speed pitch again, and out in front is Adams. Second strikeout for Delgado. We're underway in Disney World. No score. Plenty of Cardinal fans have made their way up from Jupiter to watch spring training action here today from Disney World. And here's a look at the Braves batting order. Andrelton Simmons is the shortstop, followed by Jason Hayward, Brian McCann, Dan Ugla, Freeman, Hinsky, Turdlaskovich, Costanza, and Delgado.
And Lynn will be on the mound. As I said, his second start. He's plan B in case Carpenter is not ready. And there still is time for Carpenter to make the opening day start if they chose to do so. But Lance Lynn won't hurt him to stretch out. I really think it benefits relievers to stretch out in spring training.
And the defense behind Lance Lynn. Molina will do the catching today for Call and Jackson up the middle, Freeze and Adams at the corners, and Matt Carpenter, John Jay, and Carlos Beltran in the outfield. And Lynn did say before the game that he really likes to get stretched out. He thinks it's going to help him either way. And his innings last year were very, very important to the Cardinals' success. They missed him when he was out with his rib cage issue.
He missed the final 46 games of the regular season where that strain left oblique. Did get postseason play and was very, very active. 10 postseason appearances, 8 scoreless innings. He had a 2-0 record.
I think there's some issues with him, Al, having been a starter all of his minor league career. In fact, he won 13 games in AAA for the Cardinals. Then he went to the bullpen. Now he's going back to starting. Any issues for him maybe trying to do things a little differently? Ground ball to short.
I wouldn't recommend it. I think you just go out there and do your thing. You don't try and do too much. He's big, strong. He made a couple starts last year at the big league level, went 5 innings to those. I just, for the life of me, I can't figure out why these guys are so bigger, better athletes. Why the pitchers can't handle the workload in spring training. They baby them in spring training.
Let's go, Jason.
Jason Hayward, imposing left-handed batter, pops the first pitch into center field. Jay goes back, now in, and makes the play.
First 3 innings, he really dominated. That's maybe one of the reasons why in the back of the mind you made a thought of him as a reliever. 4 through 6, that ERA jumped up there, but I think that's in the first 2 starts at the big league level. Well, obviously, when you only throw 5 innings, that's going to be a high ERA the last couple.
One of the things he did tell us about a couple of times last year, Al, was how he learned to really give it a little more maximum effort. He'd learned in the minor leagues to kind of take it easy and just decided when he got to the bullpen, hey, I got to let it go.
Well, that's it. A couple of years ago, he was really high on the radar as a starting pitcher, but then that postseason play about 3 years ago, he had a big strikeout game and elevated his velocity.
Freeze gives chase and out of play.
He was kind of considered a guy like 90, 91, and then all of a sudden he started throwing 96. And then he kind of learned when out of the bullpen, you don't have to save anything. So you just go out there and air it out. You use that good velocity. He's got a good changeup, breaking ball to go with it.
Looking for a 1-2-3 inning here. And there's a long one to right. And it is run down by Beltran. 1-2-3 for Lynn. No score from spring training. Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake. Life needs flavor. Welcome back to Disney World. Nice round of applause for Yadier Molina as he steps to the plate. Molina having a very good spring, batting over .450 and seeing plenty of time behind the plate. And he swings at the first pitch from Randall Delgado and fouls it off.
Happy man with his new contract, and rightfully so. There is competition for his backup. And when you really talk about Molina, he is so, you probably could replace everybody but him. You know, for a limited time. You don't want to see anybody out, but you know, the guys that are fighting for backup, would you really feel comfortable if they were in there for a month?
I'm always comfortable when Yadi's behind the plate.
Correct.
As I was with Mike Matheny behind the plate back in the day. Interesting connection those two will have. Molina bounces out. The smooth hands of Simmons. Temperatures in the low 70s here. A few clouds in the sky, but perfect afternoon for spring training baseball. Full house. A lot of folks in red here. And Matt Carpenter bats from the left side, playing left field today. Strange position for him, normally a infielder.
Well, if he's going to make this ball club, he's going to have to show versatility. So it's important for him to play the corner outfields, third and first base. We all know third base is natural position. And Mike Matheny said yesterday was the first day that he got a bad jump on a ball that, you know, a regular outfielder would have made the play.
Part of that opening may have to do with the injury to Skip Schumacher. We talked about injuries earlier, Al, but really the only one that we're concerned about at this point is Skip, who hurt his rib cage about a week ago, and he may be out for a while.
Yeah, have you heard a more definitive report on it?
Well, it's the oblique.
Yeah,
and
which usually
it's 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's no denying that.
Right.
But they were trying to be optimistic and say, oh, he may be back a couple days. But realistically, 4 to 6 weeks. And then you worry about trying to come back too soon. It's better to get those injuries out of the way now and get everybody healthy as soon as possible and play the regular season healthy.
And you mentioned the other Carpenter, Chris Carpenter, that Cardinal fans are maybe a little more concerned about. He did throw 60 pitches yesterday, live BP. No complaints, no problems.
You know, that tells the story there to me, 60 pitches. I mean, that's almost how many pitches that you're talking about Lynn starting in this game. So he could still conceivably be ready for opening day. Or the way that Wainwright's throwing, you could flip-flop Carpenter and Wainwright. Wainwright start the opener. You know, if Lynn was to make one start and Carpenter start the home opener.
One out walk to Matt Carpenter. Cardinals Magazine is celebrating its 20th anniversary. It remains a true keepsake for baseball's best fans. Start your subscription today at 314-345-9303 or go to cardinals.com.
Here's a nice young player, Ryan Jackson. Now his normal position is shortstop, playing second base.
Said the last time he played second base was in high school.
Well, yeah, he said this is his first professional game at second base here today. Mark McGuire saying it's been a few days since he's had a chance to swing the bat, but really enjoying working with a lot of the younger players. They've been very receptive.
Set up on the inside corner, and he just misses there to Jackson, who describes himself as a gap hitter. Had a nice season last year. Kind of got on the Cardinal prospect radar more so because of his glove. But he's a good, steady player. Getting his chance here this spring.
Went to Miami, a few years behind John Jay. Just think about Carpenter probably would be slated for third base at Memphis. Jackson would be the shortstop at Memphis. Adams at first base. They're going to have a nice little club there again.
Fouls that one off his foot, 1-2.
And remember, Ricky, the Quad Cities Club won their league. Those guys predominantly will be promoted to Double-A. They should have some nice talent at both the Double-A and Triple-A level.
Hold on the right side for Jackson.
Ricky, I talked to a couple of these young players, and they really don't know a lot, because of some of them is their first experience at a major league camp. But the one thing they know is Mike Matheny has just treated them perfectly. And I've never seen a manager play as many young guys as Mike Matheny has done. I think it's great.
Jackson trying to shoot that ball through that gap on the right side, with Freeman holding Matt Carpenter there. And that even started with the pitchers, Al, and wanting to make sure all the young pitchers were paired with old pitchers early on, just to make sure they were getting kind of the wisdom of the Wainwrights and the Carpenters. And really, Mike Matheny is establishing something early on, that he's going to respect you, and of course he's going to demand the respect back, and he deserves it. Swing and a miss. Jackson, third strikeout victim for Delgado. As those Cardinals out on their front foot a bit with that changeup, Al.
Yeah, he's got great action. Look at his body. He's got that long, those stringy arms. That gives a lot of whip action. So he sells that off-speed pitch with the arm action.
So Lance Lynn with somebody else's bat and somebody else's helmet.
Well, he looks like he wants to swing. Whether he's gotten permission to swing, Lance is wanting to.
I think it's all for show. I'm guessing he's not going to swing.
Well, that's what I'm kind of thinking too.
Doesn't even have batting gloves.
But he's up there looking like he wants to hit, and so far he's hitting.
And my understanding is he can swing the bat pretty well.
I think so. I think Lance Lynn, they really appreciate his mentality. And, he's a big burly guy that, like you said, wherever they use him. You want me to start? You want me to go short relief? I can do it all. And I think he's going to draw a walk.
He's worked it to 2-2. Smart money is on him not swinging right here.
Ricky, you've been out there at times when a batter's taken
yeah.
And how hard to throw a strike.
Not there. He was taken. That's 4 strikeouts for Delgado. No score.
When it comes to paint, there's one brand that
here in Orlando. Look at Yachty, a disciple of Albert Pujols, way back in the batter's box. and that short stride, and he swings at the ball. Sometimes you get that breaking ball at late. And here's Ryan Jackson, youngster, kind of in the middle of the box, a little more spread out, still a short stride, try guard against being off balance, but it's almost like how many different ways there to wind up or something like that. It's no one set way, nothing perfect, but it's just what you're most comfortable with.
And one of the interesting things for Mark McGuire and John Mabry, who's the new assistant hitting coach, one of the things they try to figure out in spring training is what makes one player comfortable and try to learn their style so they can help them out throughout the season. There's a long one to left. Back goes Carpenter to the track, and he makes the play. Long out off the bat of Dan Uggla, and he has some pop.
The big acquisition, Uggla, last year, you see him way back in the batter's box. They like a little more balance in him season. You know, he had great numbers last season. As Uggla had 36 home runs, 82 RBIs, but it seemed like he did it in a month.
Right.
As he really struggled with a low batting average. But they need Uggla, they need Freddie Freeman, Hayward to get back on track and show their potential. And the Atlanta Braves lost 18 games in September. That's how the Cardinals caught them. And they really didn't, you know, they really stood pat this offseason. They lost Derek Lowe, Gonzalez, their shortstop. You know, lost an outfielder, you know,
Nate McLeod.
But they got so many young, talented players.
John Jay on the run makes the play. A couple of hard hit balls, but 2 outs here in the second. And now talking about that wild card race of last August and September. The Cardinals were 10.5 games behind Atlanta at one point, and the final standings we all know about, but Atlanta really dropped a lot of games in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, like we said, you know, you look at August 24th, Cardinals 10.5 games back. Atlanta had an 8.5 game lead. Then they lose 18 games in September. And it was the final day of the season. The Cardinals catch them, and the rest is history.
That was some final day, wasn't it?
Oh,
not just in the National League, but throughout baseball.
But Ricky, and we'll talk about it next week, but you know, now we'll never have a day like that last game, the last day of the season.
It was unbelievable. 1-2-3 inning again for Lance Lynn. Get today's top stories from Cardinals spring training at foxsportsmidwest.com. We're posting daily updates, videos, and interviews. Get warmed up for Cardinals baseball. It's all on foxsportsmidwest.com. Top of the third inning, no score. And top of the order again for the Cardinals for Call J and Beltran. Rick Horton with Al Raboski, who started a line of conversation in the last inning, and I know exactly where you were going, Al, talking about the last game of the year last year being so much fun, but this year we have some new formats to deal with the playoffs.
Yeah, arguably maybe the greatest single day in Major League history. What happened last day of the season? Cardinals overtaking Atlanta, and that was what, 13 innings. That game, remember, we'd finished our game. We had to wait around to see if we were going to qualify in Houston. And then in the American League, they had much the same with a couple different pennant races that went down to the final day, but with a new format, the new playoff format with an additional wild card in each league. That could never happen again.
Fly ball to center. Costanza retires for a call. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at that new format, Al, you're talking about. 5 teams will now qualify per league. The 3 division winners, 2 wild cards. And the wild cards are going to play a 1-game play-in. Now, 2 teams from the same division can play each other this year. That's a change from the past in the division series. And the division series will be a 2-3 format. 2 at home, 3 on the road, which is another change. And that will just be for 2012.
This year. Yeah, because the schedule was already made prior to everyone getting together on the additional wild card team. So they're going to eliminate the travel day.
Ugla to his left. John Jay is 0 for 2.
So maybe a little bit of a disadvantage to the best record team, because I think that the first 2 games are in the should I say the underdog, and then the last 3 go to the team with the best record, instead of the first 2 games being the team with the best record, then the middle 2, and then if a 5th game was needed, that would be back to the favorite.
Well, baseball doesn't change much over time, Al. You think about the way the game was played in the 1900s, basically the same way now, but little tweaks now and then, and some folks like this change because now another team gets to maybe play in October. Fly ball to right. Beltran is now 1 for 2 in 3 solid innings for Delgado. No score, bottom of the 3rd inning. A former Cardinal who went deep quite a bit, and he's sitting next to a guy named Mark McGuire. Our own John Mabry, so happy to see him in Cardinal uniform again. Hey, we've lost some of our crew, Al. We have Mike Matheny and John Mabry now have new jobs, and Cal Eldred's actually the bullpen coach today. All of our post-game and pre-game folks are getting jobs.
Ricky, we're working on trying to get a few more of them. Big league jobs.
Yes,
it's called security.
Yes, we are. That'll keep us busy, won't it, Al?
Yeah, just like the way we like it.
And looking forward to it.
But you know what? It's great. And I know Mike and John, and we'll see Cal again this year, but Mike and John did a great job working on Fox Sports Midwest. But I think we're all happy. And boys, Tony La Russa was great working with the media. But Mike Matheny's my favorite already.
No doubt. Lance Lynn, his third inning of work. Ground ball to the right side, and I didn't have to say the third baseman's name again. But I'm going to do it anyway. Turdlas. You see, there I go.
See, there you go.
I shouldn't have had to say it. Turdaslavich. Actually, they call him Joey because they find it a lot easier.
Turdaslavich.
There you go, Al. I'll let you say it. Pretty hot in the bullpen today for the Cardinals. We're going to see a number of Cardinal relievers today. Bogs, Salas, Linebrink, and Motte are all slated to pitch today, following Lance Lynn.
Now, we showed you a shot of our new bullpen coach down there, Jamie Pogue, who used to be in the Cardinal organization, and he'll be handling things down there.
Very excited about the job that he has, working as a bullpen catcher. Dyer Miller, the bullpen coach, we should say, has had to go home for a funeral. His brother passed away, so our thoughts go out to Dyer, who I've known for a very long time, and so have you, Al, and
Sure.
He's going to be a big plus. Ground ball to short for Call. Throws out Costanza.
You saw Carl really had to unload that ball quickly because Costanza can really get down the line.
And a little closer because he's from the left side of the plate, and here he is.
Right, so you see him, he sit there and watch him instead of taking a step back and getting the arm strength or anything like that. He just unloaded that ball as quick as he possibly could.
Call almost seems better to me, Al, when he is rushing, when he has to hurry. He's so athletic, so quick with his hands, and love to see him show off that arm.
And that's a good point. I was talking with Okendo today about, not for Call necessarily, but young players that a lot of times they're overly aggressive. And you know how you want them to be aggressive, but very much under control. For Call, he was a difference maker when he came at the All-Star break, and difference maker defensively. He didn't do that much offensively other than a couple big home runs against Milwaukee, but I'd like to see him all season long.
Made that game-saving play defensively in Milwaukee, and every game counted for the Cardinals down the stretch, finishing just a game ahead of Atlanta.
He was so excited to come to St. Louis because he wanted a chance to win. And he tasted that, and then you want to taste it again.
There was a lot of talk of Milwaukee wanting to sign for Call.
Right.
High Hardwin takes care of his counterpart. That's the first strikeout for Lynn. 9 up, 9 down. There's a Cardinal fan still celebrating St. Patrick's Day. No score. Top of the 4th inning, David Freese leads it off for St. Louis. Nice crowd, plenty of red.
Ricky, that was definitely an Irishman.
I know he still thinks it's Saturday. I know the type. He would be our buddy, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would.
David Freese walked in the 1st inning, facing Randall Delgado, who's given up just 1 Cardinal hit. Slider misses away. Be interesting to see how teams pitch David Freese in 2012.
You know, David has such great talent and everything. And if you make good pitches, especially if you get ahead and then you can pound those breaking balls down and away off the plate, you still get him to chase. But if you make mistakes and you hang that breaking ball because of his power to the opposite field, you know, he'll stay on that ball a lot longer, and he'll be able to, you know, do a lot of damage. But he'll improve offensively, you know, as he's still a young guy. But I mean, good pitching still it's going to get him out right now.
Hitters count right here for David Freese, 3-1. And he walks him again. Does not want to pitch to the World Series MVP.
I mean, you look at Delgado, he's pitched very well, but the fact that he's had those 3 walks, you know, it just negates so much of his the good things he's done.
Did have an interesting year last year. We talked about how talented he is. He had 7 starts with the Braves. He was only able to win 1 game, but his ERA was under 3, so he had very little offensive support, and maybe made the bad pitch, and as you said, maybe too often had the high pitch count.
Yeah.
Could be a double play. Ugla to Simmons, and on to first, retiring Matt Adams. 6-4-3.
If you're going to walk somebody, that's what you do. David Freese tries to stay in the way of that ball a little bit to kind of distract Ugla, the second baseman. Then he wants to take out the shortstop, but he wasn't close enough.
Molina bounced out, leading off the 2nd. Takes ball 1. Not much wind here, Al, although it doesn't seem as if the ball's carrying very well. We've seen a few balls hit hard to the outfield. There's Molina again deep in the box.
That's what Albert left him with. Gotti back there. You know, of course, Albert just kind of wipe out that entire line.
He would. I think it'll be an adjustment for Molina this year, too. He and Albert, very, very good friends.
And I think it's, you know.
Hard hit ball, and it's fair. Down the line. And will be a 2-out double for Molina.
I think where maybe if he gets in a little bit of a slump, he doesn't have the security of going to Albert to talk with him. But the way he's hit this spring, there are no slumps.
But we mentioned it earlier, he does have a guy that's worked with him an awful lot over the last 5 years, and longer than that, actually, and Mike Matheny. Not only did they play together, but Mike has continued to coach him.
Yeah, that's a pretty good safety valve right there. But you look at Molina, how well respected he is by the pitching staff, and you know he'll have a lot of leadership at this ball club.
And speaking of leaders, certainly a vacuum there, but Lance Berkman proved to be quite a leader last year, and I think Matt Holliday is going to step up and
totally agree.
Go to another maybe a higher level of leadership in that clubhouse. He's already shown that.
You know, that was one thing about Matt. We kind of felt like he was real comfortable being the number 2 guy.
Right.
You know, Todd Helton in Colorado, Albert here, but he's already shown some of that leadership. And how about the nice leadership quality he showed where he invited 4 young rookies to St. Louis at his expense, put them up in a hotel for a week. Showed him how David Freese and he work out. Kind of get him close to the lay of the land, and over his house a few days for dinner. That's leadership.
No doubt.
And I think still in the back, he'll assume a more assertive role, but still the best leadership is watch me how I play and how I go about my own business.
Absolutely. RBI opportunity here for Matt Carpenter. He's had a decent spring. Hits that ball hard to right field, and it's deep, and it is gone. 2-run home run for Matt Carpenter, and the Cardinals jump on top 2-0.
Ricky, I agree with your statement a couple of seconds ago about ball not traveling well. I watched Jason Hayward, the right fielder. He just turned. It didn't move. He just looked how far, and that one went completely out of the ballpark. Not only over the right field wall, but over the tents there and over the yellow wall. So what a blast that was. Sounded good.
Sure did.
Looking better.
Well, it's 2-0 Cardinals. Redbirds are 7-6-1 in spring training. This is game number 15, and you're starting to get to the time where guys are going to start making teams, and other guys are going to get sent down, so it's a nice time to get hot.
There's going to be the next cut is the day after tomorrow. And as you said, it's Mike was, I've got some older guys. I can't forget that the majority of my players played an extra month.
One hopper. Simmons throws out Jackson. Well, Matt Carpenter is the hero of the moment. He's given his team a 2-0 lead. Tonight on our Cardinals season preview show, we'll look back on how the 2011 team made its run, and we're going to look ahead to the 2012 season. Pat Parrott will visit with Mike Matheny in Jupiter as he nears his first Major League game as the new manager. That's on the Cardinals season preview, presented by First Bank, tonight at 9 p.m. on Fox Sports Midwest. Second from left, Connor Bartow, son of Brian Bartow. And he put him to work today, Al. Getting to be a bad boy.
Show up with dad at work. You got to go to work.
Now, did you used to do the tricks with the bat boys in spring training, or were you too nice to do that?
I was too nice. It's just evil people like you, Ricky.
I must admit, I have an evil side, and you know the tricks I'm talking about.
Oh, sure. Where's the key to the batter's box?
You send the bat boy over to the other dugout to see if you can get to the key to, or the bag of curveballs. Simmons is retired, and that's 10 straight for Lance Lynn.
I mean, you just don't worry about Lance Lynn. You know, he's big, burly. You know, he kind of just goes out there and competes. And here you look up, and he's really dominating this game. But, you know, he's going to stretch out. He's going to be a starter, so you let people put the ball in play.
Pretty good location there to Jason Hayward, ball one. Hayward with 2 home runs this spring, had an off season last year, but a very promising future. And we talk, Al, about how much we like going on the Cardinal caravans. I had Lance Lynn on mine, and every time I would introduce him at every stop, I'd introduce him as Jason Motte.
Why?
Because that's who Tony La Russa thought he was bringing in.
Okay. No, it makes sense.
Now it makes sense. See, I'm a little.
And what remember how
left-handed here, Al. You got to get used to it.
And for our audience, Tony would never anoint Motte as the closer.
Right.
And I think in the back of Tony's mind is if Lance Lynn came back quicker and would have pitched in the regular season, he wanted to make Lance Lynn the closer.
He was on that track, wasn't he?
So that's why Tony would never say it was Motte. But we don't have to worry about that because Mike Matheny says it's Jason Motte, who we should see pitch today.
High strike. Hayward doesn't like it. Well, Motte said to all of the places and all of the Cardinal fans everywhere on each of our stops, he said the words that Tony La Russa said to him when he got on the mound were very clear. He said, "What are you doing here?" Not the words you want to hear when you come into a World Series game.
Well, we've never really heard the full story, and probably we can leave it at that. But it was a mistake.
It happens.
And let me put it this way. It was not Lilliquist's fault.
Out number 2. Whether home or on the road, keep track of your Cardinals with a convenient 2012 schedule magnet. You got to have one of those. Compliments of Busch Beer. Fans 21 and older will receive a Cardinals and Busch Beer magnet schedule on opening day, and that is Friday, April 13th. All-star catcher Brian McCann.
Probably the 2 best catchers in the National League are inches apart.
Agreed.
Two All-Stars right there you can pencil in for the All-Star game.
Where's my ballot? Sign him up right now. Also deep in the box is McCann.
You know, McCann recognized as a little better offensive player, but look at the strides that Yachty's made the last couple of years. Yachty recognized the best defensive catcher. McCann, 270, 24 home runs, and 71 RBIs.
Furcal plays him up the middle. Really daring him to hit the ball the other way. He has
and
some
they pitch
pop.
him away.
Right. Little nubber back to Lynn. And that'll be 12 straight. Retired by the 26-year-old right-hander from Mississippi, Lance Lynn. For the 5th inning, 2-0 Cardinals. Matt Carpenter, a 2-run home run. That's the difference. And we're getting entertained here at Champion Stadium. Another big season on Fox Sports Midwest of Cardinal baseball. Looking forward to this. Getting to be with Dan McLaughlin and Al Roboski. 152 regular season games, plus 3 more spring training games. And, of course, all the broadcasts will be in HD. And we'll have Cardinals live for you, both before and after every game. Pat Paris, our buddy, Jim Hayes, the one and only.
I talked to the Cat after the Blues victory in Tampa on Saturday night, and congratulations to the Blues. That was 100 points.
They have been so much fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Had a chance to go to a number of games, and I just really am looking forward to what lies ahead for them. Lance Lynn getting a second turn at the plate, and I'm guessing he's not going to swing again. Al, what do you think? 0-2.
I think he ought to go chew out the manager. I got a perfect game. I want to hit a couple home runs, and you won't let me swing. But then I think about it, and I go, he's too valuable to lose swinging the bat. So probably good advice from Mike.
Getting ready to take the 1-2 pitch right down the middle, and he does. Another strikeout for Delgado. Are you still looking for opening day tickets? Check out the 10-game opening day pack, which includes opening day as well as great matchups against the Brewers, Phillies, Giants, and more. Ticket packs are on sale now. Get yours at cardinals.com/packs. It'll be fun to see Mike Matheny develop before our eyes, Al, as to what kind of manager he is. Popped up on the left side. Joey makes the play.
Come on, give it one more shot.
Turdoslavich. I got it. Turdoslavich.
There's Mike Matheny. Ricky, one of my first telecasts on KPLR TV back when I was playing, I spent a 3.5-minute sportscast trying to say Martina Navratilova.
I think that's a little easier than Joey Turdoslavich, don't you?
It wasn't for me.
I'll take your word.
It's like
for
her
it.
first tournament win and never had heard it before. And
just call her Lefty. 2 outs for John Jay. Jay's 0 for 2.
Remember those days?
I sure do.
Well, you didn't have, of course, the fields, the backfields and the minor league fields weren't quite as nice as these are, or all the facilities, but long days in the minor league camp.
Multiple fields, the minor league players get a chance to show what they've got, and Al, I always recommend to folks coming to spring training, make sure you catch a minor league game. You'll see some stars of the future. All hoping to get to play on the big boy field. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. 2-0 Cardinals. Spring training baseball. And Cal Eldred, another one of our teammates on Fox Sports Midwest, is pulling bullpen duty this afternoon. Sharing his wisdom, as he does on our pre- and post-game shows.
Very talented individual and very close to what's going on. Great source for us during the course of the season. And, here we want to know about any of these minor leaguers. Cal can really fill us in on them.
I'm going to be disappointed if he doesn't come back with the signs. I want to know the signs. I want to know all the scoop from Cal.
Well, the one thing we know, maybe Mike Matheny's favorite sign is the steal sign. Isn't that nice to see guys running?
And one of the reasons the Cardinals are hoping that Tyler Green can be the second baseman. Brian Jackson has a couple of stolen bases. He's playing second base today. This guy is not a stolen base guy. He's a power hitter. He's Dan Uggla. And the first hit of the afternoon for Atlanta goes past a diving David Freese. Lynn has been outstanding here this afternoon, giving up just one hit, only has one strikeout, but he's been ahead of almost everybody. He's mixed his pitches well.
Right, you can't strike anybody out until you get to 2 strikes, and he's been so efficient. That was a 3-0 count to Uggla that got the base hit. But Ricky, to me, that's another real plus. Instead of walking the guy and make him hit the ball, he's got it, he found a hole, and he goes on through for a single. But this kid's really got a lot of moxie. He got a good idea when he's out there. Strikeouts are glamorous, but if you get outs in less than 3 pitches, and you can stay in there a lot longer.
There's another base hit. This one by Freddie Freeman, the first baseman, and the throw comes all the way to third, and it's high over the head of the cutoff man. And not a good throw by Carlos Beltran. But no damage done as Freeman is not able to advance from first to second.
Beltran is a former Gold Glover, but he's nursing a little bit of a sore arm. So you could just tell it's a reflection on this ball, the way he threw it. It's kind of instead of throwing the one on the line, it's kind of a banana ball. It's up high, and you could tell that arm isn't just 100% right now. But a welcome addition out there in the outfield, and the days that he can play center field, well, you'd like to get Alan Craig's bat in the lineup as much as possible too. But he's starting to take batting practice.
And there has been very good news about him. He's playing at 100%. First pitch misses low to Eric Hinsky, the veteran. He's playing left field this afternoon. But Alan Craig is doing everything baseball-wise at 100%. He's just not doing it every day. So the key for him will be to get into baseball shape. Cardinals looking for the double play up the middle.
Concede the run at third base. You get 2. A little bit of a shift where for Kyle playing close to the second base bag. Second baseman in the hole.
John Jay playing right between the ears out there in center field, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. And Molina just see him starting to fall behind in the count. That last pitch elevated. It's a sign that you're getting a little tired. First thing that goes is your legs. And when your legs go, then the ball starts being elevated. Lance did throw 3 innings. And here we got a left-hander warming up. I believe that would be Freeman. And Freeman, he's on the radar as a prospect.
3-0. And the first walk loads the bases for Turdoslavich. Uggla had the first hit of the afternoon for Atlanta. He's at third. Freeman the second. And a walk to Eric Hinsky has loaded the bases for Atlanta. Here in the 5th inning, they trail the Cardinals 2-0. Cardinals still hoping for that double play to help out their right-hander, Lance Lynn. And he does not look as sharp. Al, you are absolutely correct.
See, now he's kind of throwing a breaking ball there, backdoor breaking ball, trying to get, sometimes have trouble locating guy to break a ball in there for an easy strike.
There's a strike at the knee, says Ed Hickox. He's our home plate umpire.
Good thing about that one is he did not aim it. He let it fly and had good location down and away.
Line drive to center. Jay on the move, and he makes the play. And tagging and scoring is Dan Ugla, but that could have been a lot worse. John Jay froze at first on that soft liner to center. He misjudged it a bit, but then was able to make it a very tough play. Made it a lot better than it could have been, Al.
Yeah, you make sure that ball, you do not allow that ball to get by you. You could unload the bases on that one if it gets by you, but didn't get a real good read on it. Hesitate, if you did the right thing, though. If you don't really see it as well, kind of hold your position until you really locate it. And that's the hardest ball. That ball right at you that you really can't. If it's left or right of you as a center fielder, you can kind of read the height of it. But kind of froze in his tracks for a minute, then located it, came in and made the play.
Jose Costanza is the center fielder, and we've already seen that he runs well. Cardinals have a difficult time doubling him up.
They let McLeod go because of what this young man, Costanza, did, last season when Hayward was out. He had that shoulder problem almost all season long, and Costanza showed everybody that he has great speed. Good fastball there. That's where you kind of revert back and say, okay, now I'm a short reliever. On my last inning, I need this to qualify for the victory. Now I just let it all out.
Back in the count now is Lance Lynn. That late swing off the bat of Costanza, 2-2. Nice crowd here. Capacity at Champion Stadium is 9,500, and I would say that's just about where we're at. Some folks sitting on the hill over the left field wall, enjoying a good ball game today. The 2-2 is fouled off.
The Atlanta Braves used to share West Palm Beach with the Montreal Expos. 15 years ago, Ted Turner was contemplating getting involved in a business deal with Disney, with the Disney Corporation, and so they decided to come here, and that's what freed up the space for the Cardinals to go into Jupiter.
Check swing. The count now full. Will Freddie Gonzalez send the runners here?
Well, he's sending the runners here.
Freeman's at second. Hinsky at first.
Might not because of Costanza's great speed.
There they go. Swing and a miss. And Molina has Freeman by a mile. Strike him out, throw him out. Lance Lynn gets out of it. The Braves pick up a run. Spring training baseball from Florida, 2-1 Cardinals over the Atlanta Braves. Nice crowd on hand. And we've had two very good performances from the starting pitchers. Both Randall Delgado and Lance Lynn have been good. And Delgado gives way to Julio Teheran, who has not had a good spring training. He's pitched 9 innings this spring and given up 11 runs. But he is the #1 prospect in the Braves organization at 21 years of age.
Right, he's rated as the best fastball and best changeup in the Braves organization. He's been their pitcher of the year the last 2 years. There you see Jason Motte, Cardinal closer, warming up. And it's really between these two pitchers for the Braves is who probably is going to be the 5th spot for about 3 weeks to a month until Tim Hudson fully recovers from his back surgery.
Nothing wrong with a little spring training competition.
No.
And that is one way, Al, that this game has changed over the last 20 years. You have a lot more players coming to spring training ready to play, ready to perform. They're not coming down here just to get in shape. They're ready to go, and they want to try to make a team.
Yeah, you know, the old days, guys had to work all winter to make ends meet. Construction jobs, all kinds of different jobs and stuff. A lot of guys used to play winter ball, you know, to try and, I always said, oh, I'm working on a new pitch. Well, I was there for financial reasons. but you're right. A lot of guys would come into spring training to get in shape. Now guys are ready year round.
There's a hard hit ball to right field. Off the bat of Beltran, and this ball is gone. 385 to right center, and that ball went about 400.
There's that left-hand side of the plate the Cardinal fans are used to seeing, and I'll tell you what, if he stays healthy, can't emphasize, the Cardinals potentially could have a better team this year than they had last year. If everybody stays healthy with a full year of Foucault, with Beltran, the switch hitter. Now David Freese knows that, you know, what he's capable of doing. Alan Craig, what he did in postseason. He had 3 home runs in the World Series. You know, the pitchers, you know, Carpenter and Wainwright, this could be a better ball club. And the more you get around baseball people, that's the way they're thinking too.
David Freese has walked twice. Cardinals now with a 3-1 lead. Hit 10 home runs last year. I think a lot of folks are thinking of him as a 25-30 home run guy, but I'm not sure you need to project him that high that quickly, although it's possible. You just want him to be a steady third baseman.
Yes, I think it's very possible, because he's going to get enough mistakes and that ability to, like I said, to hit the ball the opposite field. But in time, you would be very disappointed if he didn't hit 25 home runs a year.
A very interesting winter for David Freese. He was everywhere. Everybody wanted a piece of him. On the trip to the White House with the Cardinals team, he was the star. Watch out. There's a breaking ball that got away from Teheran.
Well, when you talk about a guy that has the best fastball and the best changeup in the organization, his curveball or breaking ball must be a little bit weak. There it was again, but in on the hands of David.
Two and two to Freese. They play him to hit the ball the other way. Watch out. One of our favorite parts of spring training is pitchers that get to run on the field during the game. That's a time-honored tradition. You get your work in, then you go run a little bit. Although he's doing a little more standing than running, Mr. Delgado. And there's a flare the other way. And it's going to drop as a hero. Base hit for Freeze.
So a long ball off the bat at Beltran, and then bad luck. David Freeze just kind of reaches out and pokes one. David stays through. There's the pitcher running.
It's always fun to do after you've had a good start in spring training, especially. Get a little celebratory run in. Delgado was decent, 5 innings, 2 runs, only 3 hits. Did give up the 2-run home run off the bat of Matt Carpenter.
Eric Komatsu is running for David Freeze at first base. You and I both had a chance to talk to him, as he's an intriguing player, Komatsu. Rule 5 pick, and he's going to make it very difficult on the organization to send him down. They like an awful lot what they see from him.
And of course, the Rule 5 problem is you may not even get to send him down. You may have to send him back.
Well, you can't send him down. You know, and I think they've changed it too, where you can, if you make a trade, but it used to be you could make a trade with his previous club. Now he still would have to clear waivers either way, to send him down or to trade for him. And I think Komatsu has shown enough to other organizations that Cardinals probably wouldn't get a chance.
Chris Maloney is the new Cardinal first base coach in 2012. Dave McKay has gone on to Chicago. And Komatsu bluffed running. Now gets the verbal sign again from Maloney. Jose Oquendo back coaching third base again this year. And talk about a guy with some stability, Al. Jose Oquendo knows baseball, knows the Cardinals, loves the Cardinals, and it's just great to have him back. Not going.
Sometimes it's better to check your ego a little bit. Some people say, well, you interviewed for the manager's job, you didn't get the job. Why would you want to stay in this organization? You want to stay in this organization because it's a very, very good job to have.
Two and two to Matt Adams. You can see the power, a little late on that one, but you see the power in his swing. And he can't be a lot of fun to pitch to.
Well, they say the fact that, you know, he has very few moving parts.
Right.
And he also has power to all fields. So, you know, he's got that short, compact swing. He can let the ball get deep in on him, hit the ball the opposite field.
There goes Komatsu. Swing and a miss. And Komatsu is safe at second base. Rowe gets away from the shortstop, Simmons. So a changeup. Strikes out Adams, but a stolen base for Komatsu. Here's his jump.
He has decent speed. He's not as fast as Avron Chambers. You see the ball might have hit him, and good throw, he would have been out. But they really like his, you know, he can play all 3 outfield positions. Very, very coachable. Very, you know, good line drive type stroke.
He was telling us exactly what you'd said earlier in the telecast, Al, about how the young players just really have taken to Mike Matheny and how welcome he has felt and how important he feels.
Yeah. Use the term, he didn't big league me.
Right. We all know what that means in that clubhouse. You almost get that air of, you know, hey, you don't belong here. You're just lucky to have a uniform on in some clubhouses, but that's not the way the Cardinals clubhouse has been this year.
And Ricky, it's not only the guys that have been in the first big league camp, there's some guys that were instrumental in our ball club last year that just now have felt like they're more appreciated, or that they really have somebody in their corner, not pulling against them. I shouldn't say against them, but you know, it's more of a positive feedback he's getting than, you know, waiting for how you're going to fail. Well, Mike Matheny's saying how you're going to succeed. And there's, even at this level, everyone needs a pat on the back.
And every once in a while you need to get kicked. Fastball misses. 2-1 to Molina. Molina's 1 for 2. Doubled and scored ahead of the home run by Carpenter.
Kind of watching where, you know, the third base coach is going to let Komatsu know where the shortstop is. In the corner of his eye, he can see where the second baseman should get a bigger lead than he has.
Hard hit ball to center field off the bat of Molina. They're not going to get this one as it's down up against the center field wall. A double for Molina, his second of the afternoon. And that'll score Komatsu. And it's 4-1 Cardinals. That ball was smoked.
Yachty loading up on the backside, goes forward, but the hands stay back, pulls the trigger, got the ball up, and it's going to be a fly ball, but he hit that one with authority. One off the wall, and Komatsu drives him in. Pinch runner for Molina. Tony Cruz. You would assume that Tony will go out and catch. Good day for Molina. 2 for 3. Pair of doubles, RBI, run scored.
And he handled Lance Lynn very well. Not surprisingly. Tough afternoon brewing for the right-hander Julio Teheran. Got to be a little disconcerting for the Braves when they really have a lot of high hopes in this young pitcher, and he's having such a terrible spring training.
You know, it's interesting. There's that old baseball adage that don't be tricked with what you see in spring training or September. Well, why can't that work in this pitcher's favor? It's like, okay, look, we know you can pitch. We know you got great stuff.
Right.
You know, we're not going to get down on you. But the one thing you've got to do, and he's from Colombia, and obviously he's only 21 years of age, is don't let those shoulders sink.
Right.
You know, just show that mound presence that you're still very positive even when things are going against you.
2-0 to Carpenter. Cruz the runner at second.
See the good fastball right there. The 2-0 fastball. Sometimes, you know, controlling the counts can change a lot of the results too.
Gap is in right center. Behind in the count is Teheran. Good changeup.
Good changeup. Great arm action and left in a good spot down and away. Looked like Carpenter was looking for the fastball, or on this one he swings at the changeup and he got the fastball. He was looking for the changeup and got the express.
One out, the Cardinals 6th. They lead the Braves 4-1. The 2-2. Been a long half inning so far for Teheran. Full count. And there's a strike at the knees. Carpenter doesn't like the call. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Teheran. And in steps Ryan Jackson, who's 0 for 2. Struck out and bounced out. Getting the start at second base here this afternoon. Not sure the temperature can be any better than it is right now, Al.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Low 70s.
Beautiful.
Comfortable day at the ballpark. Fans enjoying this ball game. And it was good to see so many folks stand up and give Yadier Molina a standing ovation when he came out after his second double of the afternoon.
Well, there's a lot of Cardinal fans here, and people may not know, I'm sure many do, but this is part of the Disney complex. So take in a spring training game as you visit Mickey Land.
Much better breaking ball there from Tehran.
But it's still kind of a sweeper.
In the hole is Jackson. Line drive, base hit to right field on an 0-2 pitch. Oquendo holds up Cruz, and a good strong throw from the right fielder. Not a good pitch there with 2 outs. Strong throw from Diaz, the right fielder, holds up Tony Cruz at third.
Veteran Diaz, noted more for his pinch hitting ability.
Absolutely. Good strong throw there.
Was Chambers pinch hitting? Chambers got a big hit yesterday, and he was nursing a little injury earlier in the spring.
RBI opportunity for him here. Runners at the corners for St. Louis, and he takes a strike. Cardinals with 44 players on their active roster, and as you mentioned, Al, in 2 days they'll make another large cut. Braves as well have 44 players, and they'll have to work their way down to 25.
Do you remember ever having, I mean, I think Braves had 57, or that's about the norm now, these major league clubs, but I don't remember having much more than 40.
You used to start with 40, right?
Yeah. Maybe you'd have an extra catcher or two, just non-roster guy, but now the mercenaries of baseball, the AAA free agent, entice them to sign with a club with an invite to spring.
Here goes the runner. Bounce back to Tehran. He throws out the speedy Chambers. A couple of home runs here this afternoon for St. Louis. One off the bat of Matt Carpenter. That gave him the lead, and in the 6th inning, it was the newest Cardinal, Carlos Beltran, who went way deep. 4-1, St. Louis. Follow the Cardinals with MLB.com at Bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, or Android. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Cardinals.com for details. New pitcher for St. Louis, trying to hold that 4-1 lead, is the Cardinal closer, Jason Motte.
Jason trying to get his work in. He had a little frustrating outing on Saturday, and talking to him a little bit before the game. He's kind of like disarray a little bit, but all he needs to do is find some way to flip the switch on April the 4th and say, I'm ready. And he will be at that time, too.
Good start this afternoon. Diaz grounds out. So far, so good for Jason Motte. You've said all along, I've heard you say now many, many times, that power pitchers sometimes have a hard time getting going in spring training.
Well, I think what happens is it just takes longer for them to find that velocity. And usually the case is you don't get enough throwing time. You don't get enough innings in spring. Spring training is kind of geared for the starters, and relievers are afterthoughts. Never happened, but theoretically, you could have an outing, you throw 3 pitches, retire 3 batters, and then you wait 3 days to throw again.
Hard hit ball to center. John Jay's been busy. Braves have hit some balls hard here this afternoon, right at Cardinal defenders.
It's part of it. Derek Lilliquist, who most of his playing time was with the Atlanta Braves, very successful playing career, and now the Cardinal pitching coach. Lilliquist, like he did on Saturday, I still haven't had a chance to talk to him because he's been staying back watching some of the starters have their bullpen session and then arriving at the ballpark, just about game time.
You have to appreciate the job he did last year under very difficult circumstances, filling in for Dave Duncan. That's not an easy thing to do.
No,
a lot of pressure,
especially when you're talking about a legendary coach.
Right.
That will the players listen to him? Now, the advantage he had, and they all listened to him because they all had confidence in him, because he had been the rehab coordinator down in Jupiter. So he worked with an Adam Wainwright, worked with the Carpenter, worked with these guys as they were coming back from surgeries. And I'm sure that they realized that he's got an awful lot of knowledge. He will tell you that, I had a chance almost for the full year to work under Dave Duncan's philosophies and just really taking what he learned from Dave and just implementing that again. And once again, we wish Dave Duncan's wife, Janine, the speedy recovery.
Absolutely. Two and two to Hayward. Motte has his sign. Changeup did not fool Hayward.
But it is important for Motte to use that pitch now. There's going to be a day where he's going to be in a closing situation and he won't have a good fastball.
How about that changeup? Very good. Strikes out Hayward. Gets him out front. A 1-2-3 inning for the Cardinal closer. Pulls the string. Whoops. That's not fair. Cardinals lead 4-1. A couple of long balls here this afternoon. And hoping for some more here in the top of the 7th inning. Very important to stay hydrated, young man. Dad's taking care of him. Teaching him all about his love for the game of baseball.
Time-honored tradition.
Sure is. And spring training is always an important part of that too, Al, because everybody hopeful that their team's going to be World Series champions in 2012. Fly ball to left, tough chance. McCall is retired. He's now 0 for 4. The way the game has changed, you'd say that maybe there's 6 or 7 teams that you'd say, well, I don't think their chances are very good. But there are a number of teams that can surprise you the way Arizona did last year under Kirk Gibson. Not a team that anybody thought would be very good. Now they're picked to win the West by some folks.
I was talking with one of your former teammates, Greg Walker, new hitting coach for Atlanta Braves, and he was saying that he saw the Cardinals in 06, thought they were horrible. The White Sox, swept them in a series and thought they were horrible, and then they ended up being world champions. Atlanta Braves got off to a very slow start this spring. They were like 1-9, and all of a sudden people panic from outside the clubhouse. They're setting in. Oh, it's just a continuation of last year. You have all these young talented players, but they aren't ready. But they started playing much better baseball, and a lot of people like this Atlanta Braves club. A lot of young talent.
John Shearholtz, the club president. Frank Wren, the general manager. Bruce Mano, former Cardinal front office. I guess he was the head of the minor leagues at one point. He's now the assistant general manager here. So they have good baseball men at the top. They have some good veteran players.
Yeah, Ricky, one of the new trends in baseball might be, and I don't know if the Cardinals were the first, but to have 2 hitting coaches, a lefty and a righty, like McGuire and Aldretti. Now it's McGuire and Mabry. And they got Greg Walker over here with Scotty Fletcher. They came from the White Sox.
Hard hit down the line, and this ball is fair. John Jay places it perfectly. His first hit of the afternoon, a 1-out double.
Mark McGuire was saying he knew San Diego, and he thought one other club has gone to 2 hitting coaches. That makes a little sense. Mark's a right-handed hitter. Mabry a left-hander. He could work with those guys, just like he worked with John Jay, hitting that ball right on the line.
And for anybody that's been around John Mabry, he is a very good baseball man, so he's going to help out Mark McGuire quite a bit.
And Cardinals last year led the National League in hitting, runs scored, all kinds of things, and still people criticize McGuire. How can you have him a hitting coach? He teaches a lot more than just home runs. You don't teach home runs. You teach the sound fundamental principles of hitting the ball up the middle, keeping the weight back, doing the different things, and Mark has done very well in that capacity.
Shane Robinson bats here in the 7th.
Okay, for Motte, so I think we saw Bogs earlier warming up. You would think he will come in for a couple. There's Jason Motte. Motte, he's got the full beard. He got real extended mutton chops, doesn't he?
He does. Different look for Mitchell Boggs, and a new pitch for him. Throwing a split finger now.
Yep, it's a splitter, and just something to stay off his fastball and breaking ball.
Way out in front is Robinson. And strikeout number 3 for Tehran. Komatsu pinch ran for Freese in the 6th. A good afternoon for David Freese. He was 1 for 1 with 2 walks. And we mentioned at the top that Freese had a game-winning home run yesterday. So far, you'd have to say this is a good spring for the Cardinals. A lot of good news. Adam Wainwright, probably the best news of all. Hasn't given up an earned run yet.
Not surprising to us, is it?
Agreed.
Talking about Komatsu here, a Rule 5 pick. He and maybe Chambers may be fighting for it. They're kind of that similar type player. Chambers a little more experience. Kind of hate to see a young guy, 21 years of age, throw so many off-speed pitches, especially when you had the best fastball in the organization. Just because you gave up, 4 hits and a couple runs last inning doesn't mean you have to lose confidence in it.
He's definitely searching for something here in spring training. Doesn't seem to have the command. This is way high with that delivery.
It's one of the real differences, Ricky, that today's pitchers have such an assortment of off-speed pitches, but don't have fastball command.
Back goes the shortstop, Simmons, to retire Komatsu. Time to stretch. Cardinals have out-hit Atlanta 8-2. They lead 4-1 going to the bottom of the 7th inning. From Orlando, Florida, a date you're not going to want to miss is Saturday, April 14th. Not only is it my mom's birthday, but all fans with paid admission will receive a wearable replica of the 2011 World Championship ring that the players will receive on that same day, and it's presented by Edward Jones.
It's part of World Championship weekend. Opening day, the Cardinals, first chance for the fans to really kind of salute the 2011 World Series champions. Next day, players get their World Series rings, and on Sunday, the fans get it. I don't think somebody's trying to rub it in on the Cub fans there, do you?
It's just coincidence, Al.
With a smile on everybody's face.
Yes. And isn't it nice to be associated with an organization where you get to have that celebration every few years?
Sure is. How about Bogs is a prime example. One of the guys that I've always been a Bogs fan. But there are times, with his stuff and his demeanor, you're kind of puzzled why he struggles.
Agreed.
And I think Mike Matheny has made it a personal project to really build his confidence up. Every time he gets a chance, he's always saying something extremely positive to Bogs and trying to just win over that psyche, because I think he could be a big part of your ball club.
And this is the problem of Mitchell Boggs from time to time. 3-0. The command of the fastball not there yet. Could be almost a make or break year for Mitchell Boggs. He's 28. Kind of knocking at the door for a long time about maybe being that next level of ability. And he has that ability. You mentioned how he shows us that from time to time.
No doubt about it.
He just does not have a repeatable delivery.
Well, there's a phrase, repeatable delivery, mechanics, things I never heard of.
You heard of this before, haven't you?
Yeah, home run.
It's called a home run. And that's a long home run. And it's now 4-2 Cardinals. This is what happens, Al, when you get behind in the count.
Well, you get into predictable count. You got a guy that's got good power, and see, he's set up away, but look where the glove kind of moves to the inside part of the plate, gets down right in that left-hander's wheelhouse, down and in, and you got a guy, because of the count, he can guess, he can look for that pitch, and if he gets it, a lot of times he'll have that same result. But it all starts with falling behind the count.
Dan Uggla has the ability to do the same thing. He's 1 for 2. He scored a run in the 5th inning. 4 home runs this spring. 5 straight years of 30 or more home runs in the big leagues.
And at second base position. Now, he was a Rule 5 selection. One that definitely has paid off. They got him in the Rule 5 from Arizona. Of course, that was Milwaukee that did that. And they made a big trade. Florida. And Florida and Atlanta made the big trade last year to get Uggla here. 3-0 again.
Talking about Uggla with Terry Pendleton before the game today. A good friend and former Cardinal. And still hoping someday we get to see Terry Pendleton back in a Cardinal uniform. But he said that Uggla is a much better defensive player than most people think. Said he made a number of important plays for them defensively. What he ends up doing is he boots the easy one, and he makes the kind of the off-balance throw when he's not really maybe pressured to do so, and that's the one that we kind of look at and see on replays and think he can't play defense. But he said he's very capable of making some tough plays look easy.
3-1 slider there, and he was thinking he was going to get the fastball and a little check swing, run the count full. Yeah, I think sometimes in this game, when you do something so well, like his power, they got to put a label on you, something negative, and it was always his defense.
3-2. Another hard hit ball. This one handled by Furcal.
Hit hard, but you throw a strike, good things can happen. A line drive, and I just wonder if that was knuckling a little bit on Furcal the way he caught that.
Boggs has not distinguished himself yet. First couple of batters. Long home run for Brian McCann. A line out for Uggla. Chance to right the ship here with Freddie Freeman at the plate. He's 1 for 2. Much better.
Probably the splitter there, right? Looked like. Had him out in front. Well, you know what? We're talking about what Mike Matheny's going to do. Is I'm sure what he'll do is Boggs hopefully retires Hinske, and then Boggs is going to be thinking about the home run, and Mike Matheny's going to make sure he does it. Hey, think about that slider you threw 3-2, and you got a good hitter to line out. Then the splitter, the pitch you're working at, you got another dangerous hitter to roll over and get a ground ball. Always keep things positive. Now he starts out with a strike.
And pitch lower in the strike zone. And he appears to have made an adjustment. Facing Hinske. Ten home runs in the second half of the season last year for Hinske. Really, the Braves' drive really started when Ugla got red hot. Ugla had a terrible start last year.
Oh.
I mean, it was just painful to watch him play, and somehow he turned it around, had a 30-plus home run year again. The blue pit to left. Off the end of the bat. A 2-out hit for Hinske.
Like an off-speed pitch, and just maybe kept it up high. It's just a little bit too high, and that's why he was able to hit it off the end of the bat. But all like that, it's a single. It's 2 outs. Just don't walk anybody.
Braves minor league player of the year in 2011, Joey Terdoslavich. Sacrifice fly in the 5th. It was the first RBI of the afternoon for Atlanta. They trail by 2, batting here in the 7th.
Rango pinch running for Hinske over at first. Take one look at him. He looks like he can run, doesn't he?
Nice lead. And there he goes.
There you go.
But there's a problem. He's out.
That's how you make it. He ran out of the baseline. Runner saying, didn't tag me.
It was a great jump. There was just one problem. In person, next time your Cardinals take the field, just head to StubHub, where it's easy to find the seats you want, and you can see the Cardinals action all season long with StubHub. It's the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. So far, so good for St. Louis. They have a 4-2 lead. They've out-hit Atlanta 8-4. Fans have seen a couple of home runs. I said the ball wasn't carrying today, and we've seen 3 long home runs.
I agreed with you early.
Something happened. Wind still blowing in. Really just kind of a breezy afternoon. And we've seen a good baseball game. Adams, Cruz, and Carpenter will hit for the Cardinals here in the 8th.
Tough day for Adams. A pair of strikeouts and hit into a double play. A wide strike zone.
Grew up in the state of Pennsylvania. Kind of a quiet guy, kind of unassuming. A very imposing look at the plate.
You see a short, compact swing. He just explodes. Texas League Player of the Year facing the International League Player of the Year.
There are people within the organization that believe that Matt Adams is very, very close to being ready to be a big league.
And the way it was described to me is there's an awful lot of descalzos in the Cardinal organization. And that's a compliment to Daniel, you know, that knows how to play the game, can be a winning player, not going to do anything really spectacular. But this guy has a chance to be special, the way he described it.
It's his third strikeout of the afternoon, so not a special day so far for Matt Adams. First plate appearance for Tony Cruz.
Very interesting competition for the backup to Yadier Molina. Tony Cruz, we saw him last year and became really kind of became a special pinch hitter. But then you got Anderson, who's been a prospect for many years. Stephen Hill, we saw hit a home run in his first plate appearance a couple years ago. And you see Scott Linebrink, veteran, and then Coy Hill. All vying for the backup spot.
New catcher behind the plate is Bethencourt. Kind of get the sense the Braves refused to draft anybody named Smith or Jones. Carpenter homered in the fourth. Another off-speed pitch. As Al said, we've seen quite a few from Tehran.
Well, Tehran, I said the International League Player of the Year. He was their pitcher, most valuable pitcher, Rookie of the Year in the International League, and he started the Futures game. So you like his stuff. You don't like some of the results as he's thrown so many pitches, but an electric arm. You can see why they like him, and he's only 21.
Cruz the runner at first. Carpenter takes fastball high, and again the poor command of the fastball for Tehran. Carpenter gets the signs from Jose Oquendo. One thing you got to get ironed out in spring training. New signs, new year, new indicator. There goes the runner, and it's a hit and run. Everybody got the sign. That's good news.
Interesting. I wonder if he throws enough strikes to put on a hit and run.
Well, it also begs the question, we started to talk about it earlier, what kind of manager Mike Matheny will be. I think the real answer to that question is nobody knows, including Mike Matheny, because he hasn't done it yet.
I think he wants to be a very aggressive runner. You know, get a guy on base. He wants that guy to be in motion, whether stealing base straight or hit and run. Seemed like Tony La Russa went so much on the clock. You know, pitcher's delivery to the plate. And if he was anywhere fast or even average, they would not run.
And sometimes you just want to throw that human element in there.
Sure.
They're going to make some mistakes from time to time.
Yeah, you got to execute.
So Tony wouldn't use the hit and run very much, but of course Albert called it a few times.
A few times we wish he wouldn't have.
But we wish him the best. Line drive to left. Out number 2. Well hit by Carpenter. Well, I wanted to ask you about the National League as we have a moment here. And the Atlanta Braves are going to have some company up there with trying to catch the Philadelphia Phillies. They're going to be a tough team to beat. They're just very, very good. They're getting older, but they're good. But I think the Miami Marlins will be better.
Should be.
I think the Nationals may be better.
Nationals are, that's going to be an intriguing team. And on Thursday, we'll bring you a broadcast from Jupiter against the Nationals. But, they have some of that great young talent. Kind of like the Braves. You're in the bottom so many times. You get the back-to-back #1 picks in the country, and they had 2 special players. Bryce Harper is trying to make the club this year, and we all know about Strasburg, who's healthy. Harper has been sent down, but he had a calf injury early in the year. I think Davey Johnson said, hey, I took a 19-year-old Dwight Gooden. I want to take this kid, but probably better off for him to go down a little bit.
Ground ball, nice play by Tehran. Nabs it and throws out Jackson. Bottom of the 8th inning, 4-2 Cardinals. Errorless ball game. Spring training baseball. Fans enjoying this one. 8,879 of Al Raboski's closest friends here at the ballpark. And Scott Linebrink, the right-hander, veteran right-hander, new to St. Louis, takes over.
10 years of the big leagues. Of course, a few years ago, he was really one of the top setup men in the game. Last year, he pitched for Atlanta. As a matter of fact, he was the losing pitcher on the last day of the season, which allowed the Cardinals to win the wild card. I thought it was very curious with all the top-notch right-handed relievers that we have that a veteran like this signs with the Cardinals.
I agree.
You kind of wonder if was there almost a predetermined little deal. The one thing he can provide is leadership for a lot of those very talented young guys.
Good point. And those talented young guys include Sanchez and Salas.
Salas may get an inning here today. He's rejoined the ball club after becoming a father of a new son. Speaking of that, Fredbird. Fredbird's a daddy.
Is that right?
Yeah, I meant to say it the other day, but I think, Jesse gave birth to a beautiful little girl. And so congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Fredbird.
You may be surprising some folks that don't understand that Fredbird's actually married. They may not know that.
Yes, he is.
But he is.
He's my buddy.
The information you get right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Linebrink. Jams. Third Lasovic. Out number 1. Almost a perfect day. I see 2 or 3 clouds, but beyond that, low 70s. The hope of spring training. Winter behind us. All kinds of things to feel joyous about, Al. I get to be with you again, Al. Huh.
Couldn't get any better, could it?
I know our crew missed us too all winter. Tehran flies this to right field. And that's Komatsu, who's actually switched places with Chambers. Chambers now in left, Komatsu now in right. Two outs for Matt Diaz. The veteran's always been a good hitter, Al, as you said. Really been a pinch hitter extraordinaire.
And this would be a good test for Linebrink, as you say, a couple veterans. Diaz, I'm sure, has faced him many times, and they were teammates last year.
So far, spring training has been exactly the way Linebrink would want it to be, uneventful. Kind of goes out and has kind of a normal little inning, nothing spectacular, nothing terrible, just gets 3 guys out and sits down.
Maybe guilty of being a little too honest. Because the other day, I was told he threw 96, and I said, "You're throwing 96?" And he goes, "Well, I don't really think so." But I said, "Hey, wait a minute. If the gun says 96, the people are talking about it, then it's 96." You know. So he has a split finger pitch. Trying to get ground balls. Still gets it up there good enough to where you respect the fastball.
Working from the stretch. Right down central.
Diaz was very comfortable just taking that pitch. You don't see too many hitters, good hitters, taking on 3-1 though.
Linebrink first came to the big leagues in 2000. Been with San Francisco, Houston, San Diego, Milwaukee.
He had some really good years of San Diego, didn't he?
Sure did. 183 earned run average in 2005, 73 games. And there was some talk around that time that maybe he should be a closer too. He was so good. Actually had 4 very solid seasons with them before going on to Milwaukee, then the Chicago White Sox, and Atlanta last year.
Of course, it's kind of hard to be a closer when you get Trevor Hoffman's going strong.
Agreed.
And Heath Bell is a setup man.
Ground ball, tough play for Furcal. It sneaks under his glove. 2-out hit for Diaz.
Furcal playing in the hole a little bit, so a real long run to his right.
Tying run to the plate again, and this time it's Andrelton Simmons. He's 0 for 3, facing Linebrink for the first time. I have a feeling, Al, and we talked about it earlier, that Simmons is going to be in the big leagues very soon, and he's not going to be wearing the number 67 much longer.
As we said, most people predicted that Pasternacki was going to be the shortstop this season. No big league time, and Pasternacki, and I'm saying he's starting to feel a little pressure from not only Simmons, but just trying to live out the big league dream.
Simmons was just in A-ball last year.
That's why you would project somebody ahead of him.
Two. Get on the ground to Furcal. Backs up. Now gets the lead runner at second base. Good inning for Linebrink. uneventful. Scratch single. Just 5 hits on the afternoon for the Braves. They trail by 2.
In the
We hope you're enjoying spring training baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. From Orlando, Florida, the Cardinals lead 4-2. Thanks for being with us. Rick Horton and Al Raboski enjoying spring training baseball together here, and the Cardinals so far so good. Only walked one batter today. They've hit a couple of home runs, played flawless defense, and lead going into the 9th inning. Adron Chambers for Call and John Jay scheduled to hit, although Brian Anderson has a bat in the Cardinals dugout.
See Salas throwing. We'll get the final inning. We hope it'll be the final inning.
That is the plan.
For Brian Anderson, he was scheduled to be the DH in this game, but then Cardinals got here and found out they were not going to employ the DH today.
And the Cardinals showed the Braves. They sent up Lance Lynn and told him not to swing 2 at-bats.
A couple strikeouts. Chambers hitting in that 9th spot, but Lynn showed what he could do pitching.
Chambers sure did electrify the Cardinals last year with his speed. Not just his speed, Al, but you just loved the enthusiasm he brought.
Yeah, he's a former football player and had that towel in the dugout, like trying to rally the fans on. But
little Rex Hudler-like, you might
yeah.
say. Another former football player.
Our buddy Rex Hudler is going to be doing the color for the Kansas City Royals.
Yes, he is.
Coming year.
Welcome back to the state of Missouri.
Steve Physiak. Who's it?
You think Rex has enough energy to get through 162 games, Al?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I just wonder if the fans won't be worn out listening to him.
Oh, Rex is awesome. He is so much fun. Chambers always a threat to steal. He had a big lead, just barely got back there on the pickoff move by Tehran.
6'2", 175 for Tehran, but looks like he's got quick feet. Betancourt, our new catcher, nice stop right there.
Kendo flashing the signs. Cal Eldred hasn't given them to us yet, but I'm going to say hit and run right here. Big lead. There he goes.
Run and hit. They knew it too.
And Chambers is thrown out. Strong arm by Betancourt.
It's almost semi-pitch out. And it's a ball up and away, exactly where you want it, and neutralize that good speed by Chambers. So you see the infielder at the front of the bag, so he tried to go to the back end, the outfield side, but throw beat him.
Wasn't really a bad jump.
No.
Perfect pitch to throw on, though.
Yes. You know,
and that's where it comes into play, what you're talking about earlier, Al, the timing. How fast is the pitcher to the plate? How fast is the catcher getting rid of the ball? And how strong is his throw to second? All that adds up to a number. If you can't get there faster than that, they normally don't send you.
You know what the average is for a pitcher? Like 1.3? That sound about right?
I think that's fast, but
okay. I was real quick. I was 1.15, and one time they timed me and Bruce Benedict, and it was something like 3-1. Well, you better be real fast.
No kidding.
But still, you know, I had to get the ball in a position where he could throw it, and he'd get it a quick delivery and off, but that ball's getting there at 3-1. You see a guy 1.5 delivery to the plate, you're usually going to try and steal off of him.
Brian Anderson finally gets that turn he was looking for, and he flies out to left. Salas will have the ninth. Cardinals lead 4-2. Right-hander Fernando Salas will try to close it out for St. Louis. 6'2", 200-pound right-hander. Was 5-6 last year with the Cardinals. ERA very, very respectable, 2.28 in his 68 games. And he had 24 saves. And Al, you think about his season last year, more good than bad. He did have a couple of bad stretches, but Cardinals really benefited from having him out there.
Yeah, we all forget about it. He led the ball club significantly with those 24 saves, and he got us to late in the season before Motte kind of took over at the end. But Salas pitched a lot of very good baseball. He might have ran out of gas a little bit too, as he was used an awful lot.
Jason Hayward looking for his first hit of the afternoon. And it's a bunt attempt. And the play by Carpenter, and the throw is high. And it's going to be an error for Carpenter. It goes into right field, but not advancing is Hayward. Bunt single starts off the ninth inning.
Very good bunt right there. And they give him a base hit on this. Carpenter comes and fields it, just got down and just elevated his throw. No chance for Adams to get that ball, and Hayward very content not to take the extra base.
And that allows the tying run to be at the plate again. The Braves have had that a number of times since the 7th inning.
This is Betancourt. You know he's got a strong throwing arm. We'll see how he swings the bat.
Not much of a home run hitter, just 12 home runs in his 4 minor league seasons. Batting here in the 9th inning. Appreciate the job here in Orlando. Fine crew. And we hope you're enjoying our telecast on Fox Sports Midwest.
He's pretty big size, isn't he? Panama.
Panama City. 6'2", 190. Christian Gabriel Betancourt. 270 minor league hitter.
No, we don't have to. We can say the T.
We can. It's not like the other guy who's had his name changed about 6 times. Betancourt. Swing and a miss. Betancourt strikes out.
High fastball. Kind of watch him. Looks like he's got that long swing.
Yes, he does.
And we got a long swing. You get exposed a lot of times the ball up. As he chase and pitch out of the strike zone.
Long swings usually result in long years.
Not productive. This is Sutton. Drew Sutton. Born in El Dorado, Arkansas. Like our buddy Lou Brock, the Hall of Famer, the base burglar. El Dorado. El Dorado.
Nice to see Lou Brock at the ballpark all week long. Sutton was a real prospect with the Cincinnati Reds at one point. After a big AAA season in 2008. Hayward not going. 3-1 to Sutton.
So you go from the prospect to the suspect.
It happens to the best of them.
Oh, yeah. One thing about Salas is he usually threw strikes. Very few base on balls, and so look for him to come right at the hitter.
Careful here. 3-1. Ball 4. Sutton draws a walk. And some more work to do for Fernando Salas. Freddie Freeman. Now's a chance with one swing of the bat to win it for Atlanta. Salas did have issues from time to time with the home run ball last year.
Yes, he did.
And part of it is what you just said.
Those strikes.
He threw so many strikes.
So when he came behind the count and came a little more hittable pitch, Freddie Freeman, counting on him. He had 21 home runs last year, 282, 76 RBIs, but he dislocated his right kneecap in a fielding drill early in camp. And he had one hit in his first 14 at bats.
Cardinal straight up in the outfield. For Call playing him to pull in the infield, hoping for that double play ball and the pitch. Line drive foul. Nice play. Wow.
You make a play sitting on your backside. Nice play.
Braves may have just gone from 44 to 45 players in camp.
By the way, there was no error on that play by Hayward, the bunt play.
And a base hit to left for Freeman. Hayward grounds third. He's going to try to score. And a play at the plate, not in time. RBI base hit for Freeman. That's his second hit of the afternoon, and the tying run now at second base in Drew Sutton.
Mike Matheny out to talk to Salas, bring in the entire infield. Chambers got away with it, but not really the right play. You got to keep that ball down, and so the cutoff man could get it. Now it's Hayward running, and Chambers not noted for his best throwing arm. That was probably the best throw I've ever seen him make, but he threw it over the cutoff man. The runner at second did not take advantage of it and go to third, but Vino backing up Salas here. It's kind of a, Salas had missed time as he went to his native Mexico for the birth of his son. And so you kind of come back, but I don't know how much time he missed, but you probably hadn't thrown for a few days. Need to get his work in, but you want to make sure you close out the game.
Durango pinch ran for Hinske in the 7th inning. It was promptly picked off. Runs very well. Waves at that pitch. And having Matheny out in the mound to talk to Salas made me realize for the first time that we now have a manager that, as far as I know, does not speak Spanish for the first time in many years. Line drive to left field. Chambers cannot get it. There's going to be a play at third, and he's safe. Carpenter dropped the ball.
Carpenter was ready for it, and a heads-up play by Chambers, but just a one hop, and he just couldn't hold on to it. Wanted to come in, charge it, but he fires a strike right there. One hops, and Carpenter can't hold on to it.
Was a bit of a short hop for Carpenter to handle, but the Cardinals almost pull one out of the hat there. All right, more trouble for Salas. Bases loaded. Cardinals lead by 1. Joey Turdlasevich waves at an off-speed pitch.
Times Salas gets strikeouts. You don't think you really have a strikeout pitcher. He'd sure love one right here. Pop up in the infield, strikeout. Line drive at a fielder, an infielder.
Hoping for something good right here. And on the hands of Turdlasevich.
Mike Matheny wants to see a 1-2-3 from Salas, but it's not to be. But now you got just a situation where you just love to see him compete.
He has all he can handle right here. Bases loaded. 0-2. The pitch. Low and a check swing. And no, says Las Diaz.
Give a little credit to Tony Cruz calling that breaking ball in the dirt.
You bet.
Have the confidence with tie and run at third that I'll block it. And as a pitcher, you have to know that you can throw balls in the dirt and they'll be blocked.
Turdlasevich has an RBI on a sacrifice fly, and he's looking for more here in the 9th. Cardinals hoping for 2. Salas is set. And there's a pop fly in the left field. It's shallow. In comes Chambers on the run, and he makes the play.
Run it in and get rid of it. But boy, the wind brought that ball back towards the infield, and Salas now has the 2 outs. Boy, that little lazy bat right there, just kind of flying. Let me try and hit this ball.
Defensive swing.
Yeah, very defensive. Fooled by the pitch, got underneath it, and good things happen for Salas.
Jordan Perez gets a chance to be a hero.
Another household name, isn't it?
He'd like to become one. Wearing number 74.
Not sure about the nationality, but he currently lives in Henderson, Nevada.
Here's a long fly ball to center field. Back goes Robinson, and he makes the play, and the Cardinals win this one 4-3. Well, it got exciting there, Al, in the ninth inning, but the Cardinals were able to pull it out.
That's what I mean. Now Mike Matheny got to see Salas under pressure, and he delivers for him. So a nice ball game by both squads, a little better by the Cardinals.
Braves caught the Cardinals with hits at 8, but the Cardinals win this one 4-3. We'll be back with more in a moment.